Hi, this is Richard Campbell from .NET Rocks. I'm here at Dev Connections in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. I'm sitting with the Paul Randall. How are you? The other half.
I'm doing good, yeah.
So you guys are out doing nonstop SQL Server, and I say you guys, of course, talking about Kim and John, you know, work together.
And Joe now as well.
And Joe?
There's 4 of us. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. And so what sessions have you focused on here?
So I did a PrePreCon with Kimberly. It's one we do quite a lot actually, which is foundations of a healthy SQL Server database, which is not just aimed at SQL Server, but on all the kind of TFS and SharePoint and everybody else that's laid on top of SQL Server as well. And then I'm doing 2 really deep dives. I'm doing a deep dive on perf tuning and a deep dive on disaster recovery.
And I love the PrePreCon concept. It's this idea of, do you know your database is healthy?
Right.
Like what does that actually look like?
And we don't go down into like 300, 400 level, where I mean, we're really targeting involuntary DBAs, people that are, you know, the DBA leaves and you're the nearest one next to SQL Server. You're the DBA now.
Yes.
I mean, one of the stories I told in that class was, I remember on one of the forums a few years ago, somebody posting on one of the disaster recovery forums saying, they just fired our DBA because we have a corrupt database. I'm now the involuntary DBA. I've got 24 hours to fix it, or I'm fired too. Help. Yeah. But that's the kind of thing that we're talking about, is the fundamentals of being a DBA. From everything from server settings to how to set your databases up to be performant, to little tips and tricks around performance, but not really deep dive stuff, because that's what we kind of cover in the conference. We always try to have, because we're the track chairs, we always try to have a nice match between what's covered in the pre-cons and the post-cons and what's covered in the individual sessions as well, so people can get a feel for which kind of sessions they want to go to if they haven't looked at the session schedule yet.
Yeah, it would make sense for me as an involuntary DBA, catch that pre-con, sort of set my mind on things I need to be thinking about, prepares me for going into some of these sessions now, drill a little deeper on some of the other subjects.
Yeah. So we try and cover, I mean, we must cover, I don't know, 20, 30 different areas of SQL Server in that day. Wow. But we don't drill into 400 level, obviously, there's not enough time.
But I guess it just starts off with this idea of, do you know when you're in trouble?
Absolutely.
When to ring the alarm and maybe get some help.
Because many people don't, especially if they are running a layered product on top of SQL Server, they've got no idea.
Often people aren't running SQL Server for SQL Server's sake, they're running it because they've got a SharePoint installation or got a TFS installation.
In fact, I teach part of the SharePoint MCM certification because underneath an enterprise SharePoint is an enterprise class SQL Server.
Sure.
So you really got to have a DBA.
And you really need it to be healthy.
Oh,
SharePoint doesn't work so well when SQL Server's unhappy.
Fabulous product, but it doesn't make the best use of SQL Server all the time.
So there is some tuning tips and tricks, things to know.
Absolutely.
And you drill into all of that.
Yep.
Great. So what else are you doing here? When you do dive deep, what do you dive into?
I'm doing 2 400 level sessions, one on performance tuning using what's called weights and queues. So very often people walk up to a SQL Server that's not performing very well and they kind of flail. They don't know exactly where to start. The SQL Server knows exactly why it's not running well. It keeps track of whenever executing threads need to get interrupted for something because they haven't got a resource, and it keeps track of why, and it keeps track of how long they're waiting. So you can go up and ask SQL Server, why are you waiting? And it will tell you. And by analyzing the pattern of what's happened over the last couple of hours, for instance, you can see where things have started to degrade. And it lets you go and look at, it helps you drill down to the root cause of the problems. Because many people will see, oh, it's not behaving because of blah, and they'll say, okay, that must be the root cause. Kind of what I call knee-jerk performance tuning.
Sure.
In fact, that's half the title of my session, is avoiding knee-jerk performance tuning. But using the weights and queues shows you what the symptom is and shows you where to go looking down the kind of trail of what's going on to try and find the actual root cause.
Yeah, often that next layer is just something else below that. It's another symptom, another symptom,
Absolutely.
another symptom.
Until you get right down to the, yeah, exactly.
And sometimes it's actually hardware. You know, sometimes stuff is broken.
Sometimes it is actually hardware. More often than not, the kind of consulting we do, it's very infrequently the hardware, to be honest. But sometimes it is the hardware.
Yeah. And most of the time it's something more strange.
Something, a lot of the time it's just coding. People haven't coded well, or they haven't got it the right non-clustered indexing strategy, which is one of Kimberly's fortes, something like that.
Just not catch it all. So this is sort of an opportunity to drill through to get to the truth.
Absolutely.
Excellent stuff. Oh, sounds like a busy week.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you.